What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson. We are now Jaden Daniels days away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft. So it's the perfect time to give you my top 5 realistic options at pick 29 on night 1 of the NFL Draft for our Washington Commanders. What better day to do a top 5 than 5 days away from the NFL Draft? I'm Rio Robinson. Let's ramble. What an off season for our Washington Commanders, coming off the best season we've had in 33 plus years. I am a 33-year-old, almost 34, coming this October. The best season of my life just commenced, and Washington has gathered a majority of the ingredients needed for yearly contention in one off season. In one off season, we got the devil out of our organization. We got us a quarterback. We got us a talent evaluating front office, a coaching staff that can develop players and pieces all over the roster. But there are still a couple spots left, and we know what the major and glaring holes and deficiencies that remain on the roster. But we've got to a point of roster development where trading back is a choice and it is an option. And 5 picks may not be enough for some people, but I don't think it's the amount of picks that matter at this point. We have to get quality picks at this point. We have to get homegrown talent developed because rookie contracts, we got a bunch of young players on rookie contract. We got to get the most out of these guys and maximize our opening title window before we have to pay Jaden Daniels. After we pay him, that's a whole nother list of things that we need to concern ourselves with. But for the next 2-3 seasons, we don't have to worry about paying the quarterback 45% of the salary cap. So these draft picks matter. And I'm not tripping on the amount of picks Washington has because we just acquired an elite left tackle that's 30 years old who's going to at least see himself through Jaden's rookie contract. We just acquired Deebo Samuels in free agency. Oh, I put the S at the end of his name. You know, I hate how us black people, we like to add an S and make everything plural when it's not Deebo Samuel. My bad. I'll put some respect on his name. But Washington needs to hit on draft picks. We're getting year 2 out of a lot of guys that we did not see much from last year. Ben Sinnott, Luke McCaffrey, Jordan McGee, Dominique Hampton, Javonte Jean-Baptiste. We need to see more out of them. We're going to see a position change out of Brandon Coleman, who I still see as a guard to this day. Word to Deontay Wilder. But let's talk about it. These are my top 5 realistic options for the Commanders. And each pick is going to have a caveat, an ulterior pick that if they were there, I would strongly suggest the team draft that player too. And with this list, I didn't double down or double up at a position. Each person on this list plays a different position of need for this team. Don't hate me. Don't fight me. Do not debate me. You can put your top 5 realistic options in the comments below because I want to see what y'all are thinking. Like, let's put our brains together and make one large brain trust of the fan base. But don't shoot because my list is different than yours. You know, I got a different preference and a different cup of tea for what I want for this team. But each of my top 5 players play a different position of N-E-E-E. I mean, N-E-E-D. Damn, I can't even spell today. You know, it's the off season. But coming in at number 5 on my top 5 realistic options at 29 for Washington. Oh, and this model, we're sticking and picking at 29. We can play trade back games later. Let's draft us a baller at 29. So these are my realistic first round options for the team. Coming in at number 5, Josh Conerly Jr., left tackle, Oregon Ducks, 6'5", or just a shade under 6'5", 311 pounds, phenomenal pass blocking left tackle. We don't need him to play left tackle here. And I know you're saying, Rio, How is tackle a need? We just traded a boatload of picks for Laramie Tunzel because my brain still tells me that Brandon Coleman is a guard. Word to Jay Gruden, guard. Put 4 R's in the word guard. You know what you're never going to have to explain to me as a fan? Protecting the investment. Jayden Daniels, he is the centerpiece. He is the epicenter of everything that this team needs to succeed over these next few years. If you button up the offensive line, you put Brandon Coleman at guard, we get a healthy Cosme back, you put Connerly opposite Tunzel, and Tyler Biadasz is healthy. That is a buttoned up and secure fortress in front of Jayden Daniels for years to come. We're talking about a guy who only gave up 9 pressures in his entire season last year. Only 4 penalties, Hopefully he doesn't take too much to what Laramie Tunzel's doing on the left side because, he was a penalty machine in Houston last year. But we're not worried about what happened over there. He's in D.C. now. But Josh Connerly gave up 1 sack and 9 pressures in the entire season last year. He's a great pass blocker. He's all right as a run blocker. He has time to grow. He is 21 years old. 21 years old. He doesn't turn 22 till around Thanksgiving. That is a young player. If you take him in the first round, you get 5 years of contractual control. And when Laramie Tunzel eventually fades off into the sunset, or we move on from him, because I'm sure we extend him and we get him through Jayden's rookie contract, Connerly will seamlessly fall into the left tackle spot because he's played there before. Look at him. Look at that mountain of a man. That looks like a tackle. The eye test matters. I know the eye test is irrelevant to a lot of you. Me and my group chat, me, Tay, Todd, Alex, Jalen, Zach, Marshall, the eye test matters to us. And the eye test told us that Brandon Coleman was a guard. He did fine for us at tackle last year. Don't put a speed rusher in front of him or he gets the drums beat off him. But he did fine as a tackle. I think he can be more than fine as a guard. Shit, throw Coleman next to Laramie Tunzel on the left side and throw Connerly next to Cosme on the right with Badass in the middle. That offensive line is going to be a problem for years to come. I'm not going to get any deeper into the conversation. Age, upside, a lot of time to grow into an even better player, but the player he is right now is plug and play ready. I'm not going to Brian Baldinger or Mitchell Tischler you. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know all the intricacies and details of the offensive line position, but the team has clearly shown interest at this guy at multiple events. He's had a top 30 visit with the team. There is still a need on the offensive line. It may not be as gaping as some of the other holes on the roster, but Josh Connerly Jr. would make a ton of sense to me as a first-round pick for the Washington Commanders. Some people have him going late first. Some people have him going second. I think he would fit in here seamlessly. And protecting Jayden Daniels is never something Adam Peters, Lance Newmark, or the front office is ever going to have to sell to me because I get it. Everything revolves around this guy. He's him. Jayden Daniels, keeping him upright is the number one priority for this football team. It may not be the biggest hole on the roster. It definitely fills a need. Debate your mother about it. Coming in at number 4 on my list of most realistic options for Washington at pick 29, wide receiver Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Probably the runner-up to be wide receiver U. Between them and LSU, the programs that produce the best receivers in the NFL out of college. This is a 6 foot, 210, 211-pound receiver. He is a plug-and-play jack of all trades. He doesn't need to be a master at anything. He's a good route runner. He separates. He catches everything. Deebo Samuels was brought in. Once again, I put that unnecessary S at the end of his name. Sorry. Deebo Samuel was brought in this offseason for a fifth-round pick. We fully guaranteed his salary for 2025. Therefore, he's on a one-year prove-it deal. Even if we were to somehow get an extension done with Debo, we're going to extend Terry. We need some young blood in that room. And I know Luke McCaffrey, we're still banking on the development of him being a contributor. Emeka Egbuka makes your threesome of starting wide receivers one of the better units in this league. Debo as your Swiss Army knife, Emeka Egbuka as your plug and play wherever the fuck wide receiver. He can play on the outside. He can play on the slot. You know what I'm never going to have to worry about with Emeka Egbuka? Him getting open. He's always open, and he always catches the football. He is a leader. He's pretty much Terry McLaurin, personality-wise. Same type of guy. Man of God, man of his faith, choir boy off the field. Never going to have to worry about off the field shit. Once again, a non-diva in the room. So when Terry eventually got to pass that torch to a youngin, he is the perfect youngin for that position. You're never going to have to explain to me drafting a wide receiver from Ohio State. He has 2,000-yard receiving seasons, 2 double-digit touchdown seasons, despite the fact that he's playing second fiddle to generational talent such as Maserati Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jeremiah Smith, who's going to be a top 5 to 7 pick in one of these upcoming drafts a couple years from now. Emeka Egbuka fits everything. He's a leader. He's a captain type player. It would not surprise me if he was one of those guys that they say has a commander tag next to their name. Remember, the commander tag is something Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, Lance Newmark and company, they're giving certain players that fit leadership, production, games played, going to a specific type of school. There are traits that describe these players. Emeka Egbuka is the forgotten receiver in this class because he's not a 4-3 guy. He's not making the most exciting plays, but he has to be one of the easiest plug-and-play guys in this draft. He's just a good-ass football player that's going to come in, start immediately, get up to 800 to 1,000 yards for a football team every season, and go about his business in a way that you're never really going to hear from him in the process, man. Absolute professional. I know my boy Tay in the group chat is enamored with the guy. Would love to have Emeka Egbuka here on this team. Wide receiver, not one of the bigger needs on the team, still a big need on this team because we only have 3 sure things on the roster right now. Matter of fact, correction, we only have 2 sure things on the roster right now, and that's Terry McLaurin and Debo Samuel. Everything else is fill in the room, wide receiver 3, 4, 5 type candidates with Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey, KJ Osborne, the ghost, as my boy Louis T calls him. But coming in at number 4 on my list, Emeka Egbuka. And why don't we stay at Ohio State? Because it's a program that I like. If I had a college team, this would probably be one of my top 2 teams that I would root for because I've always loved the program, but I like to keep it neutral. I watch college football for players. And coming in at number 3 on my list, a need. Put it in all caps. The running back position, the Virginia boy himself, TreVeyon Henderson, number 32. A running back that is selfless, that is versatile, that also shows those commander's tag type leadership characteristics. He can pass block like hell. When you watch him pass set and pass block, he looks like a smaller Clinton Portis out there. He's getting hands and shoulder pads, and he will put you on your ass. You can throw the ball to him. You can give it to him out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. He is a touchdown machine. TreVeyon Henderson would fill a need for this team. While the running back room, they decided to run it all back this offseason. Chris Rodriguez is what I like to call our temp agency running back. You know what a temp agency, you know when the temp stay on call, stay by the phone, because if we need you, we'll call you. That's what Chris Rodriguez is for us. Jeremy McNichols is a running back 3. Need I say more? He got us touchdowns and yards when we needed him to do something. I'm still upset about that fumble in the NFC Championship game, but he did his part as the running back 3 for this team. Running back 2 is Austin Eckler, who had a phenomenal season for us, even became a second-team All-Pro as a kick returner. But the concussion issues on top of the age, and he's on the last year of his contract. And then Brian Robinson Jr., who was a walking injury report designation last year, he needs to be the complimentary short yardage back. We need someone dynamic out there. We need a change of pace, explosive, big play, versatile running back with vision starting on this football team. And TreVeyon Henderson checks so many boxes at running back for this team, man. He is an absolute baller. 2,000-yard seasons. He had dealt with some injuries here and there, but man, we're talking 2024, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns rushing, 284, 1 touchdown receiving, and he's splitting the backfield with another 1,000-yard back in Quinshon Judkins. I think it was McShay's show where they were talking about Ryan Day hit up TreVeyon Henderson after Quinshon Judkins' freshman year at Georgia Tech and said, you're the first phone call I'm making. How would you feel if we brought in another running back? TreVeyon's coming off a 1,000-yard rookie season himself. A selfish guy would say, hell no, I'm the bell cow. I don't want to split carries with nobody. He said, nah, bring his ass in. Let's compete and let's make each other better. That's the type of mindset Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are looking for on this team. And a split backfield between TreVeyon, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, and company, that sounds like music to my ears. I would not mind us taking him at 29. I think TreVeyon Henderson gets drafted in the first round. I think Genty's RB1. I think Hampton's RB2. And I think TreVeyon Henderson is right after that. I don't think TreVeyon Henderson is quite Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is a fucking alien. Jahmyr Gibbs is one of a kind, and there was a reason he went top 15 the year that he came out. I see TreVeyon Henderson as a guy that I seen y'all floating around trade ideas for. He could be our version of a Breece Hall. He could be our version of a Breece Hall. Why trade draft capital for a Breece Hall when you got Breece Hall at home? VA boy, take him at 29. You want a running back that badly, you love him, take him at 29. TreVeyon Henderson, come on down. You are number 3 on my list of top 5 most realistic options for the Washington Commanders in the first round in 5 days. Coming in to our top 2. So number 5 was Josh Conerly Jr. Number 4 was Emeka Egbuka. Number 3 was TreVeyon Henderson, which takes us to number 2 on my list. I told you each guy was going to have a different position. Freak of nature time. Relative athletic score, alien of a safety, Nick Emanwari, South Carolina Gamecocks. I love this guy. I love this player. He is only 21 years old. He's still growing into his instincts, and he's not scratching the surface of how good he can be yet. This is a demon. I don't like anybody throwing anyone's name out there next to Meast, Sean Taylor, 2-1. Rest in paradise forever, my guy. But Nick Emanwari is a freak. We're talking 6'3", a shade under 230, linebacker build, flies around with a 4.38 speed. Nick Emanwari would be the fastest player on the Commanders if he came on there today. You look at the build and think box safety, but hell no. The tape does not reflect that at all. The guy can cover, the guy's fast, and he has get out of jail speed. When I say get out of jail speed, I don't mean literally someone running away from prison. I mean, he has the recovery speed that even when he's wrong, he can be right. If he makes the wrong read, if he takes a bad angle, he has the recovery speed and the motor to make up for it. I think he's going to help in the run game. I think he's going to help in the pass game. And I think he's just an absolute freak chess piece type player. He's not a box safety. That is a free safety. Our safety room needs some talent. Quan Martin is more than solid. Will Harris will be a solid contributor. Jeremy Chin had a very good season for us last year, and he was compensated as such as he took a contract with the Las Vegas Raiders this year. But we need a demon in the room. I know cornerback is probably what y'all expected to see on this list, but I'm not sure the talent at cornerback warrants the pick at 29 as much as a guy like Nick Emanwari. A guy that talented, that's a blue chip player. This roster needs blue chip player. They need difference maker. They need guys that offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators need to circle on the game plan. Nick Emanwari is going to give people headaches. And I think we have the coaching staff to mold a player like that into an absolute demon. What is the biggest difference maker that I want to see out of our defense in 2025? We got to force more turnovers. We got to force more. We do not force enough turn. You know what the difference in that Lions game? Because the Lions, it was still bend not break for us. Despite the fact that we forced 5 turnovers, we gave up 31 points, and we needed every one of those turnovers to win that game. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the litmus and the measuring stick and the barometer for all teams going forward, especially in our division and conference. They forced the shit out of turnover. We only turned the ball over 18 times in 2024, and 10 or 11 of them were against the Philadelphia Eagles. We have to find a way to flip fields and turn the ball over. Nick Emanwari, 4 interceptions last year. He had a 2-interception season as well. Didn't force any fumbles, deflected a couple passes, but this is a 21-year-old freak of nature with all the traits and tools to be one of the better safeties in this league. I think Malachi Starks would be a safer option, but I think the ceiling is so much higher. When you talk about ceiling and projection, you look at players like Shamar Stewart, where they're all athletic freakness, but we haven't seen the production. You've seen Nick Emanwari produce at South Carolina in the SEC. He has produced, and he's still getting better. He's 21 years old, God damn it. Bring Nick Emanwari here and let Dan Quinn turn him into an absolute demon. And y'all already know, if you watch this channel, if you watch Commanders Kings, you already know where we're going with the number 1 most realistic, fingers crossed, I'm praying for option for the Washington Commanders. You already know the vibration. The Ted Hendricks Award for the nation's top defensive end. First team AP All-American, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-ACC, ranked 2nd in the nation with 16.5 sacks this year, 3rd in the nation with 20.5 tackles for loss. Come on, man. He only played in 11 games. He didn't play in the bowl game. The guy with the crazy wingspan, Mr. Donovan Ezaraku. This is my dream Grand Slam, knock this shit out the park selection for Washington at pick 29. The most glaring hole on this team after the loss of a Dante Fowler and company is edge rusher. We need someone with some juice getting to the quarterback. We have good edge setters, Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell, Dietrich Wise, Jacob Martin. We got guys that can give you normal-ish pressure rates and can get to a quarterback occasionally. We are missing a demon up front. We need a true demon. There are projection players. There are guys that we've seen show athletic prowess and can get near a quarterback, but almost get home. Donovan Ezaraku can go get the goddamn quarterback, and he has a plan while doing so. I watched Montez Sweat and Chase Young for year after year rush quarterbacks off pure athleticism. They had no plan. They could not use their hands, and they didn't possess a rush move to save their motherfucking life. Donovan Ezaraku has the biggest bag of pass rush moves in the entire class. Yes, his pass rush bag is better than Abdul Carter, but Abdul Carter has traits that Donovan Ezaraku and better size for the position. But this guy, 6'3", just a shade under 250. I don't care that he's under 6'3" because he has an NBA player's wingspan. Look at the arms on this guy. He looked like he can fly the fuck out of the stadium. All those tackles for loss, forced fumbles, sacks. Fuck all that. Turn on the tape and watch him. Watch the way that he bend the corner. Word to Jello Ball. Watch the instincts. Watch the plan. He is going to have a ridiculous production rate in the NFL because he has the gifts already. A lot of these pass rush guys we're trying to talk ourselves into do not have pass rush moves yet. Think of a guy like James Pierce Jr. as a caveat. He's just balling off of instinct and athleticism right now. He hasn't put it all together yet. Donovan Ezaraku has it. He already has it to this day. He's only 21 years old right now. He's only 21 years old right now. You're going to get through his rookie contract, and he's only going to be 26 if you go through all 5 years of it. Absolute baller. I think he's the type of player that can come in and get double-digit sacks immediately. He can come in and absolutely turn this defense up a notch, and he's good against the run. Is he the best edge in this class versus the run? No, but we spent all offseason making moves to stop the run, to stop Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, and all these guys that ran laps around this defense last year. We need a sack demon. We need somebody to give quarterbacks nightmares, and I think Donovan Ezaraku is Freddy Krueger. He is. I need it. I need him listed as a linebacker so he can wear number 6 and take the jersey from Dante Fowler Jr., who just returned to Dallas. This is my ultimate dream pick at 29 for the Washington Commanders, man. He's electrifying. He's a dog, man. He's a dog. Watching him play, it's a sight to behold the way that he gets after quarterbacks. He's going to be that guy that I've never seen someone get a quarterback 14 times here. Ryan Kerrigan's the closest to that with a 13.5 sack season. I think he's the guy that could come here and eventually be that. Why trade assets? Because we've already made hella trades. We've traded for Lattimore. We've traded for Debo. We've traded for Tunzel. We've traded Jahan Dotson. We traded John Ridgeway. So many. We traded back with the Eagles in the draft. We've made 7 trades since Adam Peters got here. Let's not overthink the first round. Let's pick a baller. And why go out and outsource a 30-year-old edge rusher when you can get a 21-year-old demon under 5 years of contractual control? Bring me my edge demon. I'm praying that 28 teams before us overthink it, because Ezaraku has no business to be there at 29. And so my 5 were Ezaraku, number 1. Number 2, Nick Emanwari. Number 3, Travion Henderson. Number 4, Mecca Ibuka. And number 5 was Josh Conerly Jr., the tackle. And I said there was going to be a little asterisk next to him. If James Pierce Jr. falls to 29, I'm taking him. I don't think the character issues are what people think. I think he melded in the SEC, making a bunch of money in college and with the NFL in sights. I don't think there's any issue there. Mike Green should be much of a bigger concern than James Pierce Jr. because he has 2 sexual assault accusations at 2 different schools. So that has far much more red flag to it than James Pierce Jr. At number 2, Malachi Starks, if he's there at 29. I don't think he's the athlete that Emanwari is, but he feels like a commander tag guy and another jack of all trades type safety. We need some talent in that room. Number 3, asterisk player, Omarion Hampton, if he's there at 29, you take him. You don't think about it. He has no business being there. I think he goes in the top 15 to 20 on the draft. I think he can go as early as number 12 to Dallas. Number 4, Luther Burden. People are overthinking a superstar. Go ahead and let that boy fall to the second round if you want to. If we take an edge in the first and Luther Burden's there in the second, I would not be mad if we traded up for him, because I think he was the product of playing for a shit quarterback this season, and his numbers took a dip. But everything about his game spells superstar to me. And number 5 is Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons could be the best tackle in the draft if it weren't for the injury, but he looks healthy right now. I expect him to go before 29, but I would not be mad at all if he was the pick. And these are my top 5 realistic options and asterisks, if they're there, type players for the Washington Commanders. We are 5 days, Jayden Daniels days away from the start of the NFL draft. We will be doing the War Room mock draft with the group chat this week. We will be doing Commanders Kings mock draft this week. Me and Jalen will be doing a full annual first round mock. I will be going live with the group chat for night 1 of the draft. Live with the Commanders Kings for night 2 of the draft. And for day 3, I'll be doing it from the crib dolo. Expect a heavy week of content. It is almost draft week, baby. Washington Commanders fans, NFL fans alike, we have fucking made it to the NFL draft. Embrace it. Hold on to it, because once the draft finishes, it's going to be a long time until training camp. But that's all I got for right now. Please like, comment your top 5 realistic options for the team. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? This is one of the best content sources for our Washington Commanders. Even if you're not a fan of the team, we have fun on this side, and during them live streams, everybody's involved. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Talk soon. Commander Rio.